Good morning. This is such an exciting day. We get to think about Christmas is in 6 months. Can you believe it? I know you probably don't want to hear about it, but I'm just like amazed at how quick. I saw this little diagram that it had a calendar for the whole year on one page. And so it had January and February, full months. And then everything in between was just kind of all jumbled, and then December. So I know this has been a difficult time. So if you're watching me live, welcome, welcome. If you're watching the replay, welcome as well. Today, I am privileged to be able to teach you on how to do deep set eyes. And you may be looking at me and wondering, what's wrong with my eyes? It was very odd this morning to just do one eye and not the other eye, but I wanted to be able to show you how to do it. And so I actually have standard eyes, but I think they're getting a little bit more deep set as you get older. Those kinds of things happen. And so I wanted to go through step by step. So we're going to give everybody just a couple of minutes. Let me get my things all together here and make sure we are all set and live. Go on my iPad and make sure that we're live there as well. And if you're just joining me, definitely give me a comment. I want to make sure that I am live. And also, if you are a guest, you're going to write guest and who invited you. And if you're a consultant, write consultant, your name, and who is your director. That's basically how we run it all the time. All righty. So, my glasses on. Let's see. I don't think anyone is on yet. So we will get started regardless. I have no problem just talking to the camera because I know eventually somebody's going to be watching this anyways. So let me tell you a little bit about the different types of eyes. And so we have had already, Johanna went, Marianne did wide set and close set eyes. I'm doing deep set today. We will also have the I think it's standardized for next Saturday. And this is important because depending on your eye shape, that's how you're going to put on your makeup, because you want your eyes to be their best, right? And so the thing I always remember is that, when we all first started wearing makeup, everyone just put on the makeup every which way. The first girl whose mother allowed her to wear makeup put on makeup, right? And so it may not have been good for everybody. And I know back in the 80s, as long as you had blue on your eyes, you were good. Those things don't happen anymore. Well, they do, but for different reasons, maybe like theatrical. So deep set eyes means that your eye socket seems to be much more pushed in so that your brow bone covers it, and so most people think that's hooded eyes. Hooded eyes is when your eye is open, you actually don't see the lid, or you hardly see the lid. And so what you want to remember in deep set eyes is whatever you want to be deeper, you want it to be darker. Whatever you want to come out, you want it to be lighter. So that's why contouring, that's why we do the contouring here, in the bronzing right under the cheekbone so that it sucks it in, right? Or around the temple or around the jaw, to make it skinnier, right? Anything we can do. And so with deep set eyes, the whole concept is because they're sunk in, they're probably shaded, and we want to be able to have them come out. Okay, so I'm going to go through all that. But before we do any of those things, I want to tell you a little bit about tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe is a game that we play all the time here. And so as I'm talking today, because I'm going to be sharing a lot about different products, if there's something that you absolutely must have, or if it's something you want to try or something that you want to know more about, just create a tic-tac-toe grid. And in each box, just put in that product. And when you have 3 in a row, you get entered in a drawing. And when you have a full tic-tac-toe, which means everything is filled up, then you actually get a prize automatically. So just want to share that with you so that that you'll have that. And I'll mention it again. Hopefully I'll remember. But here's the whole way of creating your best eyes. Okay, so if you are a deep set eye, what you want to remember, as I said, you want to bring out the eye to make it look lighter, right? So that it looks much more symmetrical to your eyes, and the dimensions of it look appropriate. But prior to all that, the most important thing is how you're going to prep your eyes. You don't just put makeup on, especially if you do concealer. And I don't know if you're noticing that this is, my husband's like, who gave you a black eye? this is without anything on. I have makeup on everywhere else, but I have nothing on my eyes to show you that I have pretty dark circles. And the prepping of your eyes are the most important, because if I were just to throw on right now a concealer, it's not going to look right. It's going to look crepey and it won't be even, because you want to make sure that you're taking care of your skin. So of course, always using the oil-free eye makeup remover to remove your eye makeup. It removes it very, very gently. You would want to do that at night. Don't want to do that in the morning, because if you put that on and kind of leave a little bit of a residue and you go put on your mascara, it's going to run. That is super important. So you're going to gently shake this. You're going to remove your eye makeup at night to make sure it's completely removed. You do not want to have any residue eye makeup on, because it's really bad for your lashes. There's something called lash mites. Don't Google it. It's really scary, but just be sure to keep your eyes nice and clean. So in the morning when you're washing your face and you're using cleanser all over your face, you're not going to do cleanser on your eye, but you know, as you're rinsing and you're wiping, all of that residue will come off. Okay, so now let's say that this is a very clean face. The very first thing I want to do is add my eye cream. Now I'm going to be using the 3D eye cream. I tend to use this one in the day, and then at night I'll do the Time Wise Eye Renewal Cream. But I must say that lately I've actually been doing this morning and night, because I just wanted to see if there was a difference. And I do find that it's not only moisturizing, but it helps to brighten under the eye. So you're going to take a very little bit, and basically what you're doing is just tapping all under your eye. You don't rub under your eye, because it's a very, very gentle stroke that you want, because it's very thin skin. And so the more we pull and tug, we all tend to do this, the more you pull and tug, the faster the wrinkles are going to come. So you're going from the outside in. At night, I would do the entire eye. So I would go down and then around this way. In the daytime, I'm going to put eye primer on my eye to just help hold on to my eyeshadow, and it's also going to make the color a little bit more bolder. So under the eye, you're tapping it like this, okay? And then I'm going to take a little bit of the eye primer. Again, this is what I normally do for both eyes, very little. I put my two fingers together, so I won't need this one now. And then what I'm going to do is just go all over my eyes. I want to make sure I get in the crease, and just kind of a back and forth, very gentle. You see how I'm not pulling and tugging, okay? And that will just sit for a second. So now what I want to do is I want to prep for under my eye. So I'm going to use under eye corrector. This is my best friend. You know, like Christmas morning when the camera's going to come out, I at least have my under eye concealer, because you can see I look really dark. I remember my director coming to my house once and I didn't have makeup on. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just the dark circles. It's not about sleep. It's not about not getting enough water. It's just hereditary. Sometimes that happens." So the under eye corrector, what it's going to do is completely, it's like an opaque color, so it completely covers it up. So if you have any kind of discoloration or anything, this works really well. Now, of course, if you have things like, you know, red vessels, you know, blood vessels, then you definitely want to do our green color stick that we have right now as limited edition, because that counteracts it. So you would do that, maybe a little bit of under eye corrector to just make it look more natural skin tone, and then that should cover it up. So basically what I do is I will take a little bit of this, and you will just do a couple of dots. So you do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to just go a little bit more. Oftentimes I do it right on my finger, because I kind of have it set up that way. And then you're going to want to take a brush or your finger. So I'm going to show you with my finger with the under eye corrector, and with the brush with the concealer, okay? And so basically what you're doing is you're just dabbing this. It does not get rubbed. You're just dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. Now, I do tend to try to get right in here, because that tends to be where it's the darkest. So I'm going to do a little bit more. I have a little mirror down here. And if you're just joining me, make sure that you tell me that you're on, and just say your name, if you are a consultant, who is your director, and if you are a guest, who invited you. So this, I mean, isn't that like night and day? This is like my best friend, without a doubt. Okay, let me make sure that looks good. Okay, so that is the very first thing that I do. And then I will take concealer. So At this point, what I do after I put my eye makeup on, I will put on the under eye corrector, and then I put on my foundation because I find that I want that to blend. And so when I do my foundation, I'm going to use the blending brush. I love this brush, and it's going to go all over. I've already put on foundation and makeup and everything, so I'm not going to do it again, but that's what I would do. And then I would take my concealer, and this is actually called light beige. Now, I am going to again go right inside and just do dots all the way in around like that. And then I tend to do like a little bit on the top side of my nose, right in here in the crease, and across here, because that's going to just be my highlighting as well. This is what I use for highlighting. And then I use the cream brush. Now the concealer I prefer to do with the brush, and it's basically to give it a better texture. If you're using your finger for that, it might be a little more, sticky, so it won't work as well. So I'm going to now take this, it's very smooth, and I'm going to blend it all in. And I'm making sure that I'm going up in here. Deep set eyes, even more so. You want this corner to be really bright so that it stands out. So remember, light comes out, dark goes in. So I do that. And then I will just touch up, usually with a little bit of the blending brush, just to make sure that it's all blended. And it should be. Isn't that night and day? I know. It is. It is just amazing what this does for me. Okay, now we're going to do eyeshadow. So let me tell you with deep set eyes what's important. Deep set eyes, you want the lid to be very, very light, especially as you're coming on the inside, because that's where it tends to be darker. You want it to be very, very light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Blossom, which is a very light pink, and a couple of ways of doing eyeshadow. One is, of course, our brushes are like the bomb. I would put on just rubbing it on. I actually find that if you actually tap it, you actually get a better coverage, and you'll get a little bit of a deeper color. So I may blend it a little bit up here like this, but I am particularly going in so you can see how much lighter that is, right? So tapping it really makes a difference. Okay, then I'm going to take the crease brush, and I will show you the crease brush has a little bit of an angle to it. You can see it here, a little bit of an angle to it. So now I'm going to use Soft Heather, which is a light pink because I'm wearing pink today. And what I'm going to do is from the outside, I'm coming in. And in some ways, having your eyes opened a little bit so that you're getting right above where the bone is will help. Because if you just stick to just the lid, it's still not going to stick out enough. It's going to actually look more like it's deep set. So I'm going to start on the outside, and I'm going to go up. You can see how that color comes in nice and bold. And then I'm going to actually just bring it down to the inside corner. Okay. And then with my eye open, so I want to make sure that it's going to be high enough. Okay. Now it looks like it's, not even and real thick, and that's okay because I'm going to do all of my colors, and then I'm going to take a blending brush. And this is actually called the cream, the one I use for my eyes. Of course, it's a different one. I'm going to do that to blend my eye makeup so that every color is blending. It looks like it's just a shading. It doesn't look like I have 3 different colors on. But the lighter that this is, and the more that you lift up here, it's going to bring out and make it look like it's a little bit flatter. Okay? So now I'm going to take this little smudger brush, which is this one here. This one is super cool. So this is called, the first one that I used is called the eye crease. That's the one that had a little bit of a slant to it. And then this one is called the eye smudge, and you'll see that it's very fat. It's actually kind of on the harder side. So now I am going to take this color here, which is a sweet plum, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that, and that's going to just go in the crease. It's kind of like an accent color, just a little bit in the crease. It's So I'm kind of going over. So you'll see that it's lighter and then it goes darker there. Okay. Now, this is our lash and brow, and it has a very, very pointy brush on the end. And now I'm going to take Biscotti, which is also another light color, and I'm going to go right on the inside here. It's almost like I'm doing right in the inner corner, because that's going to make the eye pop. And you can probably see that it's standing out quite a bit. So just having that go here. And then I'm going to take that same Biscotti and I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting up under the brow. Okay. Now I will blend it all together. And voila. Can you see the difference? Now, I normally wouldn't put as light on the eyelid because I don't really have deep set eyes. So there are times that what I'll do is I'll take this same brush that I talked about that's a little slanted, and with this soft heather, I would actually go over, I would do the light all over, and then I would do this mid-tone, and then I just kind of, with whatever's left over, kind of go over so that the lid is a little bit darker. But this gives you the impression of how it's going to stand out. Okay. All right. So once I do that, then I like to add a little bit of color under my eye. I don't usually use eyeliner under my eye because I feel like it makes it closed. So if you have like really round eyes, top and bottom look great, or you really like that look, the boldness of your eyes, you know, like some people with very light blue eyes, you know, the dark bold really makes the eyes stand out. So that's just really a preference, and all makeup artists have different ideas on what is the best. So you just kind of go practice with each one and see what looks better. So I tend to like my lower lashes to look a little bit more subtle and more natural. Part of that is because I have such dark circles that if I bring anything too dark, it's going to be too much. And so I prefer to use whatever I'm using in this mid-tone to go under the eye. So I literally just touch right under the lashes. It will give me definition, and I do use mascara under my eyes. I have very, very long lashes, luckily, but that just kind of closes that up a bit. All right. Next is my liquid eyeliner pen. I love this. I like that it's super, super pointy. I like that you're able to just glide it on, but that it's waterproof afterwards. And so it is a little tricky. If you've never used liquid liner, it is a little tricky. I will say that part of what I find the best is if I put it on just touching, I'm going to do that now, just touching the very, very tip where my lashes touch my eyelid. And I just kind of covered that up, and you can go back and forth. I'm going to have to put the mirror a little closer to me. But this here, if you just get it started, we tend to open our mouth right when we're doing that. And then once I have my guideline there, go a little bit this way to make sure I get the end, then I actually can start making it a little bit thicker. I can go in here just a little bit. So I kind of make it thinner as I start and then work my way out to get it a little bit thicker, because when my eyes open, I want to be able to see that liner. Now you can certainly use our pencils, which are also awesome. I tend to use the black when I do that, but when I want a natural look, I would do the steely. That used to be my favorite color, which is like a very dark, gray. All right. So now I'm going to actually start getting the depth in here. And I'm just, you see, as I'm just rolling it, people think that it's just drawing it like that. Not necessarily. Now, you want to try to get your eyes to match as much as possible. But one of the things that I heard is your brows and your eyes are sisters. They're not supposed to be twins. So they are each a little different. I mean, some of us have a little bit more significant difference. But you will find that each eye you're going to apply differently. My lashes are different on both eyes, and my eyebrows for sure. So There you go. All right, now I'm going to do my brows. Now, I at night do use our Lash Brow Serum because although I have long eyebrows, the hair on my eyebrows, I tend to be a little bit more balding here. So that actually helps to the regrowth. So the way that the lash serum works is as your lashes grow and your brows grow, they reach a certain point and they fall off. And so, and that's just a natural thing, right? And so what this is doing is as it's growing, the new growth is coming in already. And so it actually keeps it from being, you know, completely bald. Now, I like to use the dark blonde just to give me the definition. And then I use dark brunette for the brow tint. So I'm going to do that right now. Get my mirror back in here. Now, what you want to do, and something that many people don't realize, is that our brow liner is not to draw a line. It's not about drawing a line. It's about drawing little tiny hairs. That's what it's about. So you do want to have a little bit definition. So I just kind of go over real quickly, and I'm going just outside my brows because I want to be able to fill them in, but I need to have the definition. So I'm going to go here. I'm almost going on the outside, but because it's dark blonde, it doesn't really show up. If I was doing this with a dark brunette, I would look like Groucho Marx. Now you want to be able to bring it out. This one's a little bit shorter than this one here. So it's like, you know, straight up is where you're going to start. If you're going across your nose, right across your pupil, that's where you want the arch. And then at the end of the eye, that's where you want it. So this one actually I could have used a little bit more here. I'm just going out. It looks very natural when you're doing it with this pencil. So again, I'm going to define in here a little bit better. And voila, brows make such a world of difference. And then I'm going to take my brow tint. As I said, it's in dark brunette. And I'm just going to go over. Now on this side, I have two brow hairs that are white. And, you know, those are the ones we always used to pluck out. You don't need to pluck them out anymore. This covers it right up. So it's great. So now what I'm doing is I'm not touching the skin. I'm only touching the hair. This has microfibers in it. So it's actually not only putting it on your brows hairs, but it's also actually creating a mesh so that it actually makes it look a little bit fuller. So now I'm just going to touch up a little bit. Make sure I'm not covering myself with the mirror. Now upstairs in my bedroom, I have, you know, like 10-time mirrors. So like I could just be this close and see everything, but you can see the difference with that. Okay. Again, you're just touching the hair. All right. Then the next thing is mascara. Now, lash primer is really the best thing to use first. And what it's doing, it's conditioning because it has I think it's a B5 Pro Complex vitamin B5. And so it's going to condition the lashes. It's also going to help them, when you put on the mascara, make them look fuller and longer. And so it's really just good to have them conditioned. I left that upstairs and just realized, but it is clear. Sometimes you can just put that on if you just kind of want to, you know, give a little bit of a look. But the lighter your eyelashes are, then of course, the more that you want to do the mascara. Now, right now we have a limited edition Fanorama. It is unbelievable, this mascara. So it is our Lash Love formula, but the brush is different. And I will show you how it is, like it fans out. You can kind of see, go out here a little bit, how it fans out. So what you want to do is you want to be able to get where the hourglass is. That's the part you're going to use. So you're going to just do strokes going out. Everyone does mascara a little bit differently. But this also has a little fan right on the very end. So like for the bottoms, that's how I do the bottoms. And then keep doing the coat. So I like to do like 2 coats on my eyes. Just going to flip this on the other side. Now, some people do eyelash curlers, which definitely are great. Like I said, I have very dark, long lashes, so I don't really need to have that. But if you were to do the eyelash curler, you always want to do it before you put on mascara. You never want to use that with mascara on because you can break your lashes. I think you can see that. Yep. I'm going to actually add a little more on the other side because I guess I did one extra coat on this one. So when you're doing the eyelash curler, before you do the mascara, you do that, and you just kind of close it on your eyes, and you just kind of do a little bit of a little pressure. You don't want to pull while you're doing that because you'll pull all your eyelashes out. So it's just kind of a couple of pumps. Then you would do your primer, and then you would do your mascara, and that will actually keep them up, because some people have lashes that come straight out, and so that would be the curve. And other people, you know, they may have very fine or thin lashes, and so that will actually help to kind of get them up. So having the lash primer and having the mascara really will make them stand out. So that is that. One last thing that I do when I'm done is I will take a little bit of, from my, this is the one I used for blending, and I'll add a little sparkle. Now, the concept is, as you get older, you don't want to use as much sparkle, but I know in Mary Kay, we're just sparkly anyways. Now, I don't ever put all sparkle on my eye. I tend to use only matte. That's just my preference. But I will use, I think it's called Candlelight. It's just like a little bit of a shimmer. And that, after I'm done, I will just touch right in this ball of my eye here. I will do that. And then just a little bit up in here. And that's about the shimmer that I can handle. And that will make your eyes stand out as well. So this is Deep Set Eyes. I'm sure you would agree that it does look a little bit better than it had. And I could see that I need to touch up a little bit more on this eye. And that's kind of what happens, right? You do one eye and you do the other. So a little trick that I find is, if you are right-handed, do your left eye first, because you're more coordinated when you're doing the right eye to get it to match. So I'm just going to add a little bit here because I think that I did a little darker over here on the other eye to just make it a little bit more even. So you see, that worked. And then just blend it in so it doesn't look like you just threw it on. And that's Deep Set Eyes. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions, let me put my glasses on to see, because I haven't been able to look at any of the comments. I think I am the only one on. So that is Deep Set Eyes. Hope you all enjoyed it. All right. Have a great day.